Good, happy Monday evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Monday evening broadcast special right here on the Riley King Network. The final countdown. Tomorrow is a big day in the United States, Election Day. We will be voting for president, and here in New Hampshire, there's local elections here in New Hampshire for governor, U.S. Senate, Congress, second and first district Congress, House seats. So, local election events here in New Hampshire, and the big event is the president race. So tomorrow is a big election day in New Hampshire. Let's begin this special broadcast, the final countdown. Let's get started. Welcome to the final countdown, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, we take a look at the 2020 United States presidential race. The two candidates in the presidential race are Donald Trump, a Republican from home state Florida, running mate Mike Pence. Running against Donald Trump is Joe Biden, a Democrat from Delaware, his home state. His running mate is Kamala Harris. The 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, running for re-election. About Donald Trump. The 48th Vice President of the United States, Michael Pence, running for re-election with Donald Trump. About the Vice President. Now, let's meet Joe Biden running against Donald Trump. He is a Democrat. Let's take a look at this video.
He took the train 4 hours every day so he could have breakfast with his boys in the morning and tuck them in at night. People in Washington didn't get why Joe Biden would travel all that way. But in neighborhoods all over this country, there's no distance parents won't go for their kids. Never underestimate the power of family or the sacrifices people will make for their children. That love and hope and determination, that's what fuels the American dream. It's why you stay up paying bills, sign up for that extra shift, worry about schools and health care. When Joe Biden traveled those 4 hours, he wasn't just going home for his kids. He was going to work for them too, just like he will for yours.
Okay, and there you go on that video. And now, let's take a look at this video here.
Charlottesville, Virginia is home to the author of one of the great documents in human history. We know it by heart. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. We've heard it so often, it's almost a cliche, but it's who we are. We haven't always lived up to these ideals. Jefferson himself didn't, but we have never before walked away from them. Charlottesville is also home to a defining moment for this nation in the last few years. It was there on August of 2017 we saw Klansmen and white supremacists and neo-Nazis come out in the open. Their crazed faces, illuminated by torches, veins bulging, and bearing the fangs of racism, chanting the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s. And they were met by a courageous group of Americans, and a violent clash ensued. And a brave young woman lost her life. And that's when we heard the words of the President of the United States that stunned the world and shocked the conscience of this nation. He said there were, quote, some very fine people on both sides. Very fine people on both sides? With those words, the President of the United States assigned a moral equivalence between those spreading hate and those with the courage to stand against it. And in that moment, I knew the threat to this nation was unlike any I had ever seen in my lifetime. I wrote at the time that we're in the battle for the soul of this nation. Well, that's even more true today. We are in the battle for the soul of this nation. I believe history will look back on 4 years of this president and all he embraces as an aberrant moment in time. But if we give Donald Trump 8 years in the White House, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation, who we are, and I cannot stand by and watch that happen. The core values of this nation, our standing in the world, our very democracy, everything that has made America America is at stake. That's why today I'm announcing my candidacy for President of the United States. Folks, America's an idea that's stronger than any army, bigger than any ocean, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant. It gives hope to the most desperate people on earth. It guarantees that everyone is treated with dignity and gives hate no safe harbor. It instills in every person in this country the belief that no matter where you start in life, there's nothing you can't achieve if you work at it. That's what we believe. And above all else, that's what's at stake in this election. We can't forget what happened in Charlottesville. Even more important, we have to remember who we are. This is America.
Okay, and there you go. Now, let's meet Kamala Harris. Now, let's meet Governor of New Hampshire race. You have Republican Governor Chris Sununu, who is running for re-election, and running against him is Dan Phelps, a Democrat. 2020 candidate profile. Chris Sununu. Sununu running for re-election as Governor of New Hampshire. Governor Chris Sununu, Republican, is running for re-election. Birth date, November 5th, 1974. Hometown, Salem, New Hampshire. His education. His career. Websites and social media. His family. Why do you want to hold this public office? And quote, lived by. Let's meet the candidate running against Chris Sununu. 2020 candidate profile, Dan Phelps, a Democrat. Phelps running in Democrat primary for Governor of New Hampshire. Birth date is 3/21/79. Hometown, Concord, New Hampshire. Education. Career. Website and social media. His family. Why do you want to hold this public office? Quote, lived by. Now, the U.S. Senate in New Hampshire race. Jean Shaheen running for re-election. Running against her is Corky Mesner. 2020 candidate profile, Jean Shaheen, a Democrat. Shaheen running for re-election. Birth date, 1/28/1947. Hometown, Madbury, New Hampshire. Education. Career. Website and social media. Family. Why do you want to hold this public office? And quote to live by. The next candidate running against Jean Shaheen, 2020 candidate profile, Corky Mesner, a Republican. Mesner running in Republican primary for U.S. Senate in New Hampshire. Birth date, 11/15/56. Hometown, Wolfboro, New Hampshire. Education. Career. Website and social media. Family. Why do you want to hold this public office? And quote lived by. The U.S. House seat in 1st Congressional District. You have Chris Pappas and Matt Mowers running. Chris Pappas is running for re-election. 2020 candidate profile, Chris Pappas, a Democrat. Pappas is running for re-election for U.S. House seat in the 1st Congressional District. Birth date, June 4th, 1980. Hometown, Manchester, New Hampshire. Education. Career. Website, social media, and family. Why do you want to hold this public office? Quote lived by. (2020 candidate profile, Matt Mowers, Republican, running in the Republican primary for U.S. House seat in 1st Congressional District, running against Chris Pappas. Birth date, June 12th. Hometown, Bedford, New Hampshire. Education. Career. Website and social media and family. Why do you want to hold this public office? And quote lived by. The next candidates we are meeting, the U.S. House seat in 2nd Congressional District. You have Annie Custer and Steve Negron. (2020 candidate profile, Annie Custer, a Democrat. Custer running for re-election for U.S. House seat in 2nd Congressional District. Birth date, September 5th, 1956. Concord, New Hampshire. Hometown, Hopkinton. Education. Career. Website, social media, and family. Why do you want to hold this public office? Quote to live by. (2020 candidate profile, Steve Negron, Republican. Negron running in Republican primary for U.S. House seat in 2nd Congressional District. He is running against Annie Custer. Birth date, 11/05/1960. Hometown, Paso, Texas. Education. Career. Website and social media and family. Why do you want to hold this public office? And quote, lived by. Now, let's take a look at the sample ballot of Deerfield, New Hampshire. Here is what the ballot will look like when you go to the voting booth tomorrow. Office, President and Vice President. On the Republican side, you have Donald Trump and Mike Pence. Other candidate, a Libertarian. And then Democrat candidate, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Or a write-in candidate. For governor, you have on the Republican candidate, Chris Sununu. Other candidate, a Libertarian. And Democrat candidate, Dan Phelps, or a write-in candidate. United States Senate State Senator, Republican Corky Mesner, a Libertarian, and then Democrat Jeanne Shaheen, and then write-in. Representative for Congress, Republican Steve Negron, Libertarian, and then Democrat Annie Kuster, or write-in. For Executive Council, Republican Ted Gastis, Democrat Mark McKenzie, or a write-in. For State Senator, Republican John Reagan, and Democrat Nancy R.B. Freer. For State Representative, Rockingham District 2, you will vote for not more than 3. So, these 3 or these 3. For Republican, James Spinell, Kevin Varley, and Alan. For Democrat, Jocelyn, Avis, or Richard. For State Representative, Rockingham District 32, for Republican, Terry Roy. For Democrat, Hale Raptor. For Sheriff, for Republican, Chuck, or Democrat, Patrick William Rivard. For County Attorney, for Republican, Patricia Conway, Democrat, Stephen J. Burden. For County Treasurer, Scott, for Republican, Ty for Democrat. Register of Deeds, Kathy for Republican, Michael for Democrat. And Register of Probate, Ray, Republican candidate, Bob Davidson, Democrat candidate. And County Commissioner, Republican candidate, Brian, or Stephen L. Bionglo, Democrat. And that is a look at the ballot for Deerfield, New Hampshire. So, the polls will be opening at 7 a.m. and closing at 7 p.m. But one area in New Hampshire will be voting at midnight. Starting at midnight, we'll be voting. And let me show you. Give me 1 minute, everyone. Dixville Notch, New Hampshire. As soon as the clock strikes midnight, voters in Dixville Notch will fill the historic ballot box with their votes for the 2020 general election. Midnight voting. And thank you for watching this special broadcast right here on the Riley King Network, the final countdown. I hope I gave you good information. If you are not sure who to vote for, I hope I gave you good information about each of the candidates that we showed you this evening in the broadcast. Thank you for watching this special broadcast, the final countdown. Tomorrow is Election Day. I hope all of you are ready for Election Day, everyone. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network all day tomorrow for Election Day coverage from start to finish. Good night and goodbye, everyone.